Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. The topic we're going to dig into today is one that has probably had a lot of people, if not everyone, on edge. It's all over the news, it's all over the podcasts, and we're talking about the economy in the U.S., the global economy, the economy in whatever country you are in. They're all interconnected. What fun. But we wanted to make sure to address this. I posted a video in the CCA student group, and actually, we sent out, we sent out an email with that video. But if you are not yet on our email list, or if you missed it, we wanted to make sure just to address some of those points and give you some perspective from people who have been through challenging economic times. Okay, it's a little bit more me because I'm older than Kate is.
Well, I graduated in the middle of the
That's true.
Great Recession. Yeah, when you actually went freelance for the first time. So I feel like we have
similar experiences. Yes. Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, well, we know you're older than Kate, Nicki. I know you know. Okay. Anyway, when recessions hit, when inflation comes, when there's any kind of economic turmoil, people panic, right? Mm-hmm. And it includes pandemics. Now we can add to that. Now we know what it's like to live and work through pandemics. Yippee! But people panic, and it can feel like a very scary time. But we're not talking to everyone, people. We're talking to you guys as either current or aspiring copywriters. So what Kate kind of alluded to in her statements a little bit earlier was the first time that I made six figures as a copywriter was in 2008, what some refer to as the Great Recession, right after I left a full-time job to go freelance. And that was absolutely not a fluke. I won't say that it was planned at the time. I didn't have this context or this frame of reference. But what it comes down to is that economic turmoil, as scary as it can feel and as difficult as it can be for other people, I definitely do not want to minimize that by any means. But as copywriters, and especially as copywriters who have the ability to work as freelancers, times of economic turmoil can actually be huge opportunities for us. And let me explain why that is, because I'm sure people are like, oh yeah, okay, well, you teach copywriting, of course you would say that. And I understand that, because everything that you're hearing on the news is everything is so terrible, hide under the covers until it's all over. But here's the thing: in times of economic turmoil, crisis, whatever you want to call it, whether it's inflation, whether it's recession, whether, again, pandemic, that's how individuals react. We get scared and we batten down the hatches and stop spending and that kind of thing, and it makes sense. We're nervous, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing to do for the average individual. However, businesses react differently when the economy gets bad. When the economy gets bad, businesses get hyper focused on doing whatever they have to do to get through that economic turmoil, which means that they get hyper focused on selling, on making sure that they have money coming in to sustain them. And unfortunately, what that can mean is that, yes, sometimes businesses will lay off people or will lay off divisions that don't directly contribute to making those sales, and as they kind of tighten up their spending in that way. And again, I don't want to minimize that. It's terrible. But to focus on copywriting, businesses get hyper focused on selling. And what that means is they also then have to get hyper focused on making sure that their messaging is really, really effective. And in order to have really, really effective messaging, you probably get where I'm going here, they need skilled copywriters. So in times of economic turmoil, businesses are happy to isn't the right word, but businesses will regularly bring in freelance copywriters to help them refine this messaging because they need help getting through this. And that's businesses of every size, multinational conglomerates down to, your mom and pop restaurant around the corner. I mean, so many of our students during the pandemic would talk about how great it felt to be doing work with these small mom and pop places that they were actually helping get through the pandemic. It's what we do is valuable and it's a service. But my point is that yes, individuals get nervous, businesses take action. And they get hyper focused on what they need to do. And part of one of the things that they do in order to get by is they bring in copywriters to refine their messaging. And you can be one of those copywriters that they work with. And again, too, businesses are especially looking for freelance copywriters. So if you're full-time and you want to do it part-time, do copywriting freelancing on the side, still applies to you. If you're a full-time copywriter, obviously applies to you. But if they have had to lay people off and or if they're on a hiring freeze, they're not going to be able to hire a full-time copywriter, but they will happily bring in freelancers to help them through this work, which then, of course, once you have a foot in the door, this could continue well after this economic, I keep saying economic turmoil, is just, I'm looking for a blanket term.
Uncertainty, I feel like.
Economic
I don't know if that's...
uncertainty. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like, everybody's nervous. And then, so further, what this means for you as copywriters is that, yes, it's very tempting to be watching the news and to feel like the average consumer, which is like, oh, I'm going to, head under the covers and
Or feel like there's no opportunities.
yes.
Like, oh, we're scared and not spending, so therefore there's less opportunity. No one's hiring. There's nothing out there, when it's, to your point, quite often the opposite.
Yes, exactly. You have to be very careful not to view the world through your perspective. Because yes, that's exactly the great point, Kate. Because it can be very tempting, and even during the pandemic, we saw students who would say, "Oh, I'm I
Afraid to
feel
pitch,
uncomfortable.
really.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable pitching because I'm asking for work from them, and they're already having a hard time." No, 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 no. First of all, you're not asking for work. You're not. They're not doing you a favor by hiring you. You are providing a valuable service that helps these businesses, organizations, whatever, get through a very challenging time. You're not, it's not a favor by any means for them to pay you for your highly, highly valuable work, highly valuable and highly sought after. Let's not forget that every business and organization needs effective messaging. And, I will always say not all of them will hire copywriters, even though they all should. But during these times of economic turmoil, it's really important that you not react to the world, or at least when it comes to your career, from that consumer standpoint of, oh, everybody's afraid, nobody's going to take action. No, because don't forget that you in your career are a business. Yes, you're a small business. You're a one-person business, unless you also subcontract other copywriters, but you are a business, which means you need to be thinking in terms of opportunity. And you need to be thinking in terms of how you can use your services and how you can use your services to help build other businesses or help other businesses survive. Just like other businesses are getting focused on taking effective action, you need to be doing the same thing. When the rest of the world is getting panicky, that is not a time for you to scale back your outreach efforts and to stop pitching and just cross your fingers and hope that things get okay, or get
Or wait till they blow over worse, which
yes.
the more you wait, the more you're going to be waiting.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That is the time to ramp up your pitching. It's going to be a time when businesses need you. I mean, businesses always need us. That is absolutely a fact. But there are going to be more businesses that need you, and organizations and businesses that need you more than ever. What we do is very, very valuable. And especially in recessions, during inflation, during any kind of economic weirdness, businesses understand that. And when you come in and you provide that solution for them, it's so much easier. And, and sometimes too, even just explain to them exactly how you benefit the company. It makes it so much easier for them to say, oh, yes, we want to work with you, and we want to work with you starting yesterday.
And I know it's maybe hard to actually process everything Nicki's saying and believe it until you experience it, but just to share kind of what happened in the pandemic, where I started feeling this exact same way as how a lot of people are probably feeling and probably felt at the beginning of the pandemic. It was, oh my gosh, talk about uncertainty. What's going to happen? There's no way I'm going to have clients. Oh my goodness. Nicki said the same thing to everyone in the CCA. And I heard it. I know it. And again, graduated back in the midst of the Great Recession, but still wasn't, processing this. 2020 is, people who, and we'll link to it in the show notes, know it was my best year as a copywriter to date at the time. And I don't know, can you call it multiple six figures? I don't know if that's
Yeah.
nearly, what is that, almost
Well,
multiple
yeah, you
six
did.
figures?
You hit it. Didn't you hit multiple?
Yeah.
I think you did.
Just shy, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like an accounting error, I'm sure. But either way, and yes, that was it surprised me still, but again, I mean, I took action. I didn't stop and I didn't wait. Said, okay, this is what's happening. Best way to deal with my own uncertainty is to keep pitching, repitch clients. But at a certain point by summer, honestly, I think I had hit six figures, and I thought, oh my goodness, let me scale back a little bit. But there was just so much work. There was so much more opportunity than there is. I mean, there's so much opportunity in 2022, but all of my clients at the time just had more that they wanted me to do. It was quite frankly incredible. So know that it might be hard to accept this message because it's against everything we've experienced as individuals. It's not, we're not used to necessarily being a business owner and switching our mindset and thinking this way. But know that the antidote, if you will, to uncertainty and those feelings of ooh, is taking that action and then seeing the results and knowing, okay, that's how I saw this. I still, maybe you still feel that way, even where you're like, I don't know. But knowing and seeing the facts in front of you that, oh, okay, this is actually not, my brain isn't thinking the right, it doesn't know. You didn't experience. Our brains like to do that. We go into survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, the news is designed to convey information, but also designed to convey information in a way that elicits as much emotion as possible. What I'm saying is, the news is,
They want to keep watching.
yeah, the news is
It's a
designed
business. It's a business.
Yes, it's designed to scare you. So if you watch the news and it scares you, they have done a good job. What we're trying to do today is to counter with a different perspective, the perspective of what it's like from a business perspective. And quite frankly, you are a business, and as such, you don't have the luxury to not do anything. Because if you don't do anything, if you stop working, if you stop taking action, you don't have a business anymore, when what you really could be doing is building and expanding your business and your income in ways that maybe you never even dreamed. Like Kate's 2020. Did you ever dream that you would get to that number?
No. Genuinely no.
Yes.
I mean, like 150, I was like, yeah, that's standard. Anything above that was like, no, I'll have to work crazier hours, and which I put in maybe a few extra hours than normal, but not anything where I was, killing myself in any way.
Yeah. So we'll keep this one relatively short today because I know that this is a lot to take in. But what we want you to take away from this is, number one, to just think about things from a slightly different perspective, or be open to thinking about things from a slightly different perspective. And you know what, even if you can't really wrap your mind around that, even if you can't, take action anyway. Take action anyway. We know that you will see a lot of success from it. And then that will help you to prove it to yourself, which will then make you a success story for the next time we have, because that's how the economy works. There are always ups and downs. But the great news is that for us as copywriters, we don't have to experience those ups and downs in the same way that a lot of other careers do. So we're in a good place. And again, I don't want to minimize. There are going to be plenty of people that struggle. But for us, we are fortunate enough to say that when there are economic challenges, for us, they are opportunities. Okay, so you guys have your homework, even if it's just changing your perspective a bit. But we would also really, really encourage you to take action. And of course, we will catch you in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.